Did it do anything for you?
It renewed my keen interest in falconry.
Is it me or is like the pickleball popularity not popping this summer like it was last year?
I'm not super plugged into it.
Have you ever played pickleball?
Never.
Right.
No.
John?
Never.
Interesting.
Mm-mm.
So it's just me.
Yeah, apparently.
Huh, I don't know.
We've got a club of pickleball people at the company. My daughter plays.
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to play tonight, and they got rained out. But I've never played myself. But they're building palaces in Cedar Rapids for it.
Right.
So.
Entire palaces for pickleball. Siri, set a reminder for me to sell my pickleball paddles, my pickleballs, and my matching jerseys.
If I did play pickleball, I'd want to dress like John McEnroe.
Right.
Like
With the
once a
headband
match.
and-
Like, you've got to be kidding.
Right. Just. How you doing, fellas? Batman? Robin?
Doing good.
Doing well. Yourself?
How's the go going?
Solid.
The go continues to go.
A Friday night podcast. My dad used to be in a band, like back in the 80s, and his Friday nights and Saturday nights were like rocking out, and here we are podcasting.
Me and the boys will be playing
Right. Right. This is
the old Kiss Beth lyric.
will be like a sociology experiment. And back in the 2025s, men would get together and podcast on Friday and Saturday nights.
A timeless tradition.
Well, how was your weeks?
Good week. Yeah.
Slay the Dragon, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Solid week.
Did you do anything fun last weekend since we last talked?
Got on bikes and hit a couple dive bars, which we're prone to do.
Right. Where'd you go?
Well, I wouldn't call it a dive, but we started off at Big Grove, and then we slid down market from there.
Right.
And so we had talked previously about one of my favorite dive bars in Iowa City being Deadwood. We needed to go in there and sample their Tang Bomb offering.
Right. And what is a Tang Bomb? Is it legitimately Tang?
Yeah, Tang Bomb. Tang Bomb's really simple. It's only three things.
All right.
It's Tang orange juice concentrate.
Right. Which means somebody has. I wonder if they get that from like a vendor or somebody have to go out, or is it the same thing a Tang they've had since like 68?
Yeah, I don't know.
They bought it on surplus from NASA.
Good enough for the astronauts. It's
right.
good enough for the Deadwood
I mean,
characters.
I guess it's not three ingredients. It's basically Tang,
Okay.
concentrate in water,
Right.
and Jaeger.
Wow.
And it's a 3-gulper. It looks like cold coffee.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
I'm going to have to try that. I didn't see the Jaeger coming. Holy cow.
Yeah.
How do you think that happened? Do you think, so is it diluted in water or is it just a powder?
No, it's a batch of Tang.
They pre-make the Tangs. Yes.
Like you'd have drank as a kid for breakfast.
So
This
that's
is just
a-
more of an adult brunch.
So that's a little easier to understand. So what happened was some college kid had a half a glass of Tang.
Mm-hmm.
He did not want to go dump it out. He dumped the Jaeger into the Tang.
you can keep Tang. You can keep Tang for 10 years.
Right. It's mostly all chemicals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he just decided to throw some Jaeger in it.
And
It's
the
great.
bartender Deadwood offered up that the recipe is strictly by color. So you pour the Jaeger in and then Tang till it hits that cold coffee color.
Right.
And then you know it's ready. So it's about a third of a Pilsner glass. It's a...
So it's a pretty sizable.
It's a couple
too heavy.
chugs.
It's a 2 heavy glugs, maybe 3. It's not a down and one. I mean, you do pick it up and finish it, but it takes at least 2, probably 3 gulps.
Man, this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah.
Well, next time we record, you'll be talking about the first you've tasted of it.
Right. This is...
I mean, yeah. We should bring Tang bombs next time.
So
You have Jaeger here? I know you got Tang, right?
We'll have to check. Right. We got 2 of the 3 ingredients. Now we can just find some water.
Well, he talked about doing a takeoff, doing a Tangeray and Tang, a Tang
Yeah, Tang.
instead of a Tang bomb, which I think is worth trying.
I had no idea
Yeah.
that Tang was a mixer. I hadn't thought about Tang. To be quite honest with you, I thought they outlawed Tang. I thought that was one of the things that
Yeah.
got banned because it did terrible things to mice.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not mice.
Alive and kicking.
Mice. Fortunately, we're not mice.
Exactly.
Deadwood and Joe's. Did you hit any other? Did you get started?
No,
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 we hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Was there anything about the Deadwood that when you were there, you were like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely a dive bar"?
I mean, revisiting our prior conversation, it was reinforced to me that the bathrooms in the Deadwood just really stand up as time to, you don't really want to spend a lot of time in there,
Right.
but
It's one of the features.
I took some photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we ever make this into something that's got an audio-visual component,
Right.
I think the photos of the artwork in the Deadwood are worth posting.
Joe's, anything come to your attention when you were there since we had our podcast?
Well, we had talked about, going back just quickly to the Deadwood, it did confirm, we talked a little bit about the things that should be on tap, and we looked in their cooler in terms of the beers, and it was like we almost batted 1,000.
Yeah, our
for
top 5 around the horn, almost all of it was represented. In fact, we enjoyed Rolling Rocks,
We did.
which
Really?
I wasn't really expecting to see.
We did. They were
And-
delicious.
Yeah, and we might not want to go in there today because they might not have replenished them yet, because I think we pretty much dented them out of them.
Yeah.
But
Right.
They had Strohs
Yeah.
in bottles.
yeah,
But they also had behind the bar cigarettes available
Oh,
for
yeah.
purchase.
Yeah.
And then at Joe's, we found the same, but maybe to my surprise, because we had talked about how the Dublin has a dispenser that would, had the plunger type thing you would pull, and the packet of cigarettes would fall down.
A cigarette
It was
machine.
a more modern version.
yeah, it was almost like a touch tunes, if you will, of cigarette machines.
Yes.
And it did some cigarettes and Zyn packs and some of these things. But we did see someone execute a purchase of a package of cigarettes out of a machine.
And speaking of touch tunes, that was one piece that did. I think that the Deadwood scores on all the categories, but we did talk about like having a classic jukebox, and that's the one spot where Deadwood, I won't say falls down, but they do have the contemporary touch tune set up.
I think
They do.
it's really tough to find a good old-fashioned jukebox, a radio
Yeah.
up. I mean, it's really hard to find that. And it's, I mean, you can get 45s now. I guess there's been a resurgence of records. You could probably do it, but man, to have somebody maintain that and everything, it's tough. So,
Yeah.
but in the sound systems are so much better. You don't have to mess with the amps built into the record players and stuff. But well, that sounds a nice little tour of the dive bars, gentlemen. Well done, well played.
It was good.
The beers were all. Did you stuck strictly to dive bar beers? I assume. Was
We
there
did.
hams consumed?
Yeah, we did hams, which is on tap at Joe's, which is fantastic. And so we and you can get by the pitcher, that's another thing you don't see a lot
That's
of
right.
anymore.
Right.
That's right.
Pitchers of beer. So we knocked down a couple of pitchers of hams.
Tank
like I
Bombs,
said,
Rolling Rocks, Pitchers of Hams was pretty much the program.
that was brunch, Sunday brunch.
Pretty good little day, and then home for a nap.
Not too bad.
So this week we're going to talk about the most memorable beer ad campaigns of our generation, or our times. Companies use ad campaigns to try to tap into our common experiences and build relationships with us. And if we trust their products, then we become loyal customers, which could mean thousands of dollars over our purchasing lifetime. So just based on that, without talking about specific commercials, what are some of the common themes that you think beer companies, advertisers use with their consumers to try to win their trust? What are some of the strategies they use with their campaigns?
God, I feel a little bit like I'm in Marketing 101, the Tippy College of Business, but
Right.
I mean, for me, a memorable jingle
Yeah.
is important, and something that differentiates in some fashion, but also leaves you with like something that you come back to, that you remember the brand based on a line or a jingle.
Yeah, I think as we get through some of these different ads that we're going to listen to, you'll see like the evolution of like the character, like
Yeah.
an identifiable character that you have
A
an
lifestyle.
affinity for or something like that, and then a transition to a focus on the consumer and, to your point, a lifestyle or something of that sort. And then the comedy and,
Yeah.
and that kind of, celebrity comedy hook. I think those are the different primary avenues. And we're talking mass marketed beer ads.
We're going to play something here that has a jingle. John submitted this. It's Mabel Carling Black Label Beer Jingle.
Black Label, Carling Black Label beer. It's the premium brew at the popular price. Enjoy the best, take our advice. Get Carling Black Label, Carling Black Label beer. Mabel, Black Label, Mabel, Black Label, Mabel.
So for our viewers, there was Mabel Carling, who was an actress, John?
Correct, but I don't think a celebrity by any means. It was a character created for the ad.
And she was a waitress with a tray of beer. At the very end, people were whistling at her to bring over some more Black Label beer, which I'm sure would go for like a lead balloon now if you whistled at your waitress. So yeah, so they used a
jingle.
Jingle.
Right, which was really big. That was, I think, probably one of the very first television ad. Or
Do you
It was a
remember
television
that?
ad. It was a television
remember
ad.
that?
No,
See?
no. That's historical. That goes
I was
back to
gonna
like the
say.
40s. It's one of the original TV beer ads that had the jingle and then the character, and they created Mabel the character. Obviously, I think there's a little sex appeal action to it, but
Yeah.
more importantly, it was kind of the early day Marlboro man of beer. Mabel was the beer girl.
Right.
One of the first nationally broadcast beer commercials.
All right, our number 2, John, this is important to you. The Hamm's beer, vintage black and white, is written by Ernie Garvin. So this ad was written by Ernie Garvin, who was an employee of Hamm's, and he won an employee contest. Who could come up with the best jingle? Ernie is also on the Tom Tom during the recording of this commercial, which was actually a cardboard box. So this is a Hamm's commercial.
This is the land of sky blue waters, land of cool enchantment. Listen. From the land of sky blue waters, from the land of pines, lofty balsams, comes a beer refreshing, hands a beer refreshing. Hams. Yes, from the land of sky blue waters to you comes Hams, the beer refreshing as the crisp, cool land it's brewed in. The beer that captures for you the wonderful refreshment of this enchanted Northland. Hams. Hams. Crisp, clean cut to the taste. Refreshing. Hints of lakes and sunset breezes, dance and sparkle in each glassful. Hands are very refreshing, hands are very refreshing, hands. Refreshingly yours from the land of sky blue waters.
So that animation and real time. So it was the Hamm's bear,
Yep.
and he was doing a little log rolling there. He was doing some lumberjacking. So that was the animated part, and then they break away to a couple enjoying hams in glassware, which looked like over a nice meal. It wasn't like a steak meal or anything. It was just a nice meal. They were out, maybe a chicken dinner. I didn't. That's also a jingle, but I mean that's
Jingle.
kind of a long format.
Character.
Yeah.
You know, like what do they sell ads in now? 15 and 30 seconds,
Right, it
60
was.
seconds.
There was a lot to unpack in the Hams ads because, as you said, they mixed both animation and real footage.
Live action.
The Hams Bear was a character that was introduced shortly after Mabel. It was a character-based ad, but they also created a story around every Hams commercial. The bear is log rolling, falls in the water, or he's playing baseball, or so they're in the 30 or 60 second ad. There's a mini story,
Right.
and then a cut to a real time to give you kind of an experiential, because back 40s, 50s, the beer was not very distinguishable, right? It was all yellow. It was 4 primary ingredients. So
Right.
when they advertised, they were trying to like create some feeling. So the sky blue water, the North Water Brewing, they were
Right.
just trying to create that experience. So there's a lot in the Hams. And then the other, I think, cool thing about Hams is Minnesota Sesquicentennial. Pioneer Press published a list of the 150 most influential Minnesotans, and the Hams Bear was number 2 on their list. Number 2 on their list.
Minnesota.
Just ahead of Bud Grant.
Yeah,
Jesse Ventura.
Right.
but not the gentleman you said that came up with the ad. He
Yeah,
didn't
so
make
yeah,
the
so
list.
so it's Ernie Gavin, who was an
Ernie
employee of
Gavin.
Hams, and he won the employee contest to write the jingle, and he actually participated in that too. So Ernie was also a musician on the sly, so he kind of had a hands up. But could you imagine being like, I don't know where he worked. Like, let's say he just like worked on the
Packaging
line, and all of a sudden he's got a national ad campaign, and ad agency's like, okay, so what agency's in on this? It's Ernie from packaging.
So I, for several years, worked in Minneapolis and had an apartment on the south side of town. And one night I was at the Bull's Horn, which is a fantastic dive bar on the south side of Minneapolis. It's like a Wednesday night, sitting at the bar. And in the back door of the bar walks the Hams Bear. And they rang a bell behind the bar and announced that it was $1 hams, cans of hams. and they started shoving out hams to everyone there. People were buying it for $1. The bear walked through the bar waving, taking selfies with people, and then went out the front door, and then the promotion was over. Hams was back to $5 a can, and the bear walked up the block and went into the next bar. It was just amazing. That's awesome. And that was literally like 2 years ago.
Could you imagine that kid going back to college? And
it was an old tattered bear suit. Like it wasn't, and I don't know, he had a handler. It could have just been some dude. But as soon as he walked in, the bartender rang a bell, $1 hams. And it lasted as long as the selfie session lasted. And then the bear went out the front door. And
so, Mr. Jameson, it says here on your internship, you were the hams bear.
It's like being the Wienermobile driver.
Right. He didn't win that one, so he had to walk the alleys of Minneapolis and go in the back door of seedy bars on the south side.
All right. So before we play our next commercial, which is going to be about Miller Lite, we need to talk a little bit about Miller Lite and what impact Miller Lite had on the market. So in 1974, Miller Brewing bought the recipe from
Lowenbrow.
Lowenbrow, thank you. So when they needed money, they sold it off. Miller bought it. What they did different, they said it's less filling. And then they marketed to men. So they basically said,
you can have more.
Right.
Exactly. Brilliant.
And the first run when they did their marketing was...
I assume you're talking when they went with NFL players?
Yeah, athletes. Ben Davison,
Yep.
Bubba Smith. There was, that was kind of their first, the people who they went after, which was brilliant, because they wanted dudes to drink a shit ton of beer.
Yeah.
And that's what guys got out of that. I can drink a lot of beer and not feel filled up. So the ad campaign for Miller was designed by a 23-year-old kid. I know that things are kind of, young people had big responsibilities back then, but this 23-year-old kid from McKinnon and Erickson Worldwide Ad Agency came up with this concept for Miller.
We're not just a couple of animals who can only play football. We can be civilized, too. Tennis is sophisticated, but you still got to be fast on your feet. So we still drink light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling. And it really tastes great. Now that we played singles, we're looking for a nice, friendly game of doubles. Tennis, anyone?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
So that was Dick Butkus and Bubba Smith. They are dressed in tennis whites, got tennis rackets. Bubba Smith's carrying tennis balls. They go into a neighborhood corner bar trying to act sophisticated. So this is Miller using sports figures for the first time. We haven't got to the taste great, less filling yet, but they're definitely trying to get men to drink Miller Lite.
Well, I know what you'll be drinking for your pickleball match this week.
Right.
I just want to say I love how Butkus says beer.
Beer.
And he's not just an animal.
The other thing you mentioned about the McCann, and this could be a whole other topic, but if you watched Mad Men, right, the fact that you had a youthful copywriter or ideator in their early 20s or mid 20s churning out the ideas, I think that was actually probably more commonplace than you think. Like the Don Drapers, sometimes got the glory, but it was like sometimes the junior guy who came up with the inspiration for them.
Right. And
it just makes me think of Mad Men.
Yeah, no, the junior guy is probably most plugged into like the bar scene, Most old dudes were probably drinking martinis and going home to their families at nights. They definitely were trying to sell light beer to men. So,
and that ad campaign was a cultural phenomenon. It not only did it make Miller, it had to have been the most popular beer in the early 80s. I would say, sales-wise. But people they chanted it at stadiums. Yeah. Tastes great, less filling. Yeah. And that went on until several years ago even. A solid decade, maybe 2 decades after that ad campaign stopped. You would still hear those chants, part of the vernacular at sporting events. And to this day, right, the Bob Uecker, I must be in the front row. Those are, cultural, iconic, lines that are repeated and used in context to this day. So
right. After like 6 or 7 years, they were actually able to shift gears with that Taste Great, Less Filling campaign. And they brought in Rodney Dangerfield and Bob Uecker, kind of these self-deprecating figures. The Rodney Dangerfield commercial that I remember There was two of them that were great, but one of them was their team was up. The Taste Great team was up by like 15, and they brought Rodney in to pitch.
Yes.
And the other team, the less filling team, quickly scored 16, and then
Ended with John Madden crashing through the wall.
right
Saying he
in
caught
center
the
field.
16th.
I
home-
caught
yeah,
it.
Yes.
I caught it. Don't stop yet. The other one was the bowling, because I love the fact that at one time bowling was on one of the channels on Sunday afternoons.
Right. Wide World of Sports covering
Right.
bowling.
That was one of the things they covered. Well, you could even get it locally. Like WHO out of Des Moines would have it on Sunday mornings. But yeah, they had the All-Star Bowling. All Rodney had to do was knock down one pin, and his bowling ball hit the front pin, and it bounced off. And then Bob Uecker, he started a whole different line himself of Miller Lite stuff. And I think that almost made him as famous as when he was a ball player.
So,
mean,
well, I
it
think
kinda-
those Miller Lite ads, what spun him into movie roles at Major League
Yeah.
and things like that, it absolutely launched him into a different plane.
if you ever go up to the Milwaukee Brewers, they
Yeah.
have Bob Uecker out front. Like they have a Hall of
Statue.
Fame
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
side, but the statue of Bob Uecker out front.
So we talked a little bit pre-recording here about like first beers we ever drank. And growing up with family in Milwaukee, we logged a lot of time in the summers at Miller Park. A couple things great about that was the mascot that slid into a big beer mug of Miller beer.
Yeah.
That was great. But I distinctly remember dad, uncles, letting us have a sip of the
taste.
light. And that was again, marketing genius, but I'm sure
They thought, hey,
we can
can't
drink
hurt 'em.
3, 4, 5, 6 of these lights.
Can't hurt these
Less
kids.
filling, it's
Yeah.
a safe beer to drink with the kids at the ballpark and then drive them home.
Right.
We're in Wisconsin. I mean, yeah.
Right.
was part of
Anything
it.
goes in Wisconsin. It's the Wild West.
That was the first beers we drank, or at least sipped off of, were at Miller Park, and they were Miller Lights.
All right. I'm just going to let this next commercial speak for itself.
Friends, tonight is kind of special.
Where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game. Hey, Bob. Teddy, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you got and a bottle of Lowenbrow. Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
Love it.
Yeah. So, famous jazz singer Arthur Prysock sang that. A lot of people thought it was Lou Rawls, but yeah. So Arthur Prysock sang that, and that I think changed the way people saw import beers. More acceptable. Lowenbrow, I think, was associated with class. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 of these Lowenbrow commercials called Steak and Lowenbrow.
Oh yeah, and it was lobster, and it was like you won the company award, and you retired. It was like special occasion beer. But didn't it become a Miller brand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had this kind of international name, but it was really in the end it was an American beer that was marketed as it was almost like Haagen-Dazs,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yes.
an import beer made in the German tradition,
So
but owned by
those ads, I'm going to talk a minute about how I thought they were hugely influential, but a couple things came to mind watching that ad. One, how miserable was that guy at the sporting event after eating the biggest steak they had? I mean,
Right.
Did he get the true, like the porterhouse, the whole T-bone and the loin, all together? Or what was the biggest steak?
Those 5 guys went to the game and all fell asleep.
And did he keep that 3-piece suit with that vest buttoned up after he ate that? And then go to YouTube and look at a Lowenbrow ad and tell me if you can find one without everyone wearing a 3-piece suit. I mean, I think that needs to come back.
Right.
A spectacular look.
Do you think there's a point-to-point correlation of the decrease in Lowenbrow beer sales and the decrease of sales of 3-piece suits? Like as Lowenbrow sold less and less,
right.
less and fewer and fewer 3-piece suits showed up at the office.
So we loved the Lowenbrow ads in our teenage years. And I'm going to tell the story because the statute of limitations is long since expired. But we were obviously enamored with let's do something fancy, right? We're going to drink beer
Tonight.
We want to have a little bit of
Tonight.
class. There was a grocery store in Iowa City that was notorious for selling alcoholic beverages to teenagers. And we went there to purchase beer when the right employees were working and they would sell beer to teenagers. And we would go in and we were enamored by the Lowenbrow.
yeah.
But at a price point that, we had to save money for Aladdin's Castle and
Right.
Twilight Tacos after 9 p.m. We
Right.
could not
The paper
roll
route
out
just
Right.
wasn't throwing.
Lowenbrow type money. And we didn't have 3-piece suits on.
Right.
But
Which was, sir, can I see your 3-piece suit?
But we didn't lack for some creative genius. So what we did do was, and we thought this was fair trade, we removed the stick-on price tags from ramen noodles,
Right.
and put it over top of the price on the Lowenbrow.
Yeah.
Right.
And the same confused employees that would sell to us with IDs that clearly said we were 16 years old
Right.
would also sell 6-packs of Lowenbrow for 89 cents. So
Right.
we would go in and clean them out of Lowenbrow
Right.
for like $6 total.
Right.
And that was a special night every time.
No
tonight's the
doubt.
night.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, they had a cool bottle. They had a cool, it was kind of ye old, I guess it was German, but it was the Lion?
Yeah. Yeah.
And available, obviously, still in Germany, which I did not realize. I guess shame on me. But spoiler alert, I will be going to Germany in a few weeks, and I will pack Lowenbrow in my check bag to bring back. So in a future recording, we'll be having a special evening.
I'm looking
so,
forward
Ray,
to
if you
that.
can bring the biggest steak you got.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
Steaks.
I'll bring the suits.
Bring the suits.
I'll bring the Lowenbrow.
I'll bring the knit tie and maybe like a sweater vest and then like a wool sport coat over top of it. That's kind of German-esque
Right.
too, right? People would ride
tweed,
bikes in that in
yeah.
Germany.
God, I never
Yeah.
thought of the fact that he sat down, had sporting tickets in his hand.
Yeah.
And they're going to start the night off with steaks and
Yeah.
some beers.
And that was Sergeant Gutierre from Chips, by the way. How did he afford that on a policeman's budget?
So our next, we are getting closer to the sun. I hope we don't burn up here. But our next jingle is, I think, considered one of the all-time greats. It's Old Milwaukee. This is from 1987. And Old Milwaukee, they focused on good times and they focused on friendships.
Snake River, Wyoming and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Snake River means fly fishing for lunker, cutthroat trout. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden, Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. And Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Fellas, it just doesn't get any better than this.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
And Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Glacier Bay means the one and only Alaskan king crab. Sweet, fresh, and
Kind of
big.
make me
And Old
think of the
Milwaukee means a
meme of the
great beer.
guy
Cold,
on the
crisp
river.
Old Milwaukee beer. Smooth,
You know what I mean? He looks like Jack Galifianakis. And some of these characters are very like that. I feel that was modeled off. It had to have been modeled off.
Light.
Guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
So yeah, they did a lot of things about fishing and good times. And so much so, our friend Will Farrell called up Darren Metropoulos. He's the co-owner of Haps Blue Ribbon. And he asked him, can I make some Old Milwaukee commercials?
Throw down in this genre.
He said, I am Will Farrell, TV and
Anchorman.
movie star, Anchorman, and I would like to make some Old Milwaukee commercials. He said, yes. So we're going to listen to this, and we're going to, I think, talk over the top of it as it goes on. So this is Will Farrell on his own dime, traveling around the country, making his own Old Milwaukee commercial.
Just do a little hand fishing here in the Mississippi. Haven't caught any catfish yet, but
I can't believe he's not shirtless. That's my first time.
Old Milwaukee. Yeah. I know you remember it, Davenport. I sure do.
Davenport.
In fact, why don't you go try yourself one? While I go look for some more.
It's a red. It's a red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue shirt too.
So he did that back in 13 years ago. But the comments are the absolute best because they sat out on YouTube for a long time, not out on national television. And the first 1,000 comments on the YouTube were from people from Davenport like, dude, you did not get in the Mississippi River.
Right.
Dude, please, God, tell me you did not actually do. And there's Davenport right behind it.
Well, I think as we've gone through these, I've come to realize that my 16, 17-year-old self myself was way too impressionable to beer ads because I remember all of these. And one of those Milwaukee, old Milwaukee ran a whole series of those ads where Beale Street is for blues and barbecue and
Ski
Milwaukee
party.
is for beer. And the Mount Hood, Oregon is the best summer skiing. I distinctly remember like my 15-year-old self wanting to go to Mount Hood and ski while I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
Right.
That wasn't in the cars as a kid, but Brad will attest. We had the opportunity to take our daughter summer skiing, and you can disclose if you want to, but I kept referencing the old Milwaukee ad. I'm not sure anyone else even remembered it as well, but I distinctly remember it's like living out a childhood dream, skiing in shorts and cold beers on the mountains. It was
kind of was.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, I didn't ski anything like those guys did. But
No, because they were upright on their skis.
Right.
But by the same token, they didn't luge the way you did. So
Correct.
It's all the same.
No, that ski party ad is great. I think the other one, like where they're like white water rafting, you know, and then they pull out the big tin cooler with the old Milwaukee all facing the right direction and it slams down.
Yep.
Love them.
It is interesting. I mean, it's a Midwestern company. They focused on a lot of Midwestern things that people did, a lot of fishing, although we did see them going after
experiential.
king crab and stuff like that. But whoever they worked with for their ad agencies definitely focused on 4 to 6 dudes together doing something.
Yeah.
It was they didn't.
Yeah.
They
Unbuttoned shirt, if a shirt.
Right.
A lot of facial hair.
They're not bringing in sports.
No, there was
figures.
no vests or 3-piece suits in those ads, and they weren't supposed to be.
Right.
No, it was experiential. It was blue collar, salt of the earth. Yeah.
So now we get into the heavyweights here. Budweiser, who I think probably pound for pound has produced more impactful. The Anheuser-Busch brand, I should say, because between Bud and Bud Light, they have brought some pretty serious.
Yeah.
Well, they just put they
they've
planted
thrown
a flag at the Super Bowl many years ago, and they have owned Super Bowl ads with their beer. Yeah.
It would be interesting to compare the budgets.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Budweiser outspends probably their competitor. Like, I don't know, that Corona ad and what Corona spends versus what Bud spends on their brands.
Right.
No.
They are a absolute powerhouse, and they go a lot of different ways. You know, they work off your emotions, they work off humor, they work off patriotism, they work off, I mean, they hit everything. They don't necessarily have to have one thing. So this is What's Up from, I think, it was a Super Bowl commercial. So this is Budweiser's revised What's Up, I think.
Hello? Hey, who? What's up? Nothing, B. Just watching the game, having a bud. What's up with you?
So it's just some dudes watching TV,
game,
drinking
having a bud.
Budweisers.
True.
Then his buddy walks in.
Yo, who's that? Yo, pick up the phone. Hello? What's that? Yo, where's Dookie? Yo, Duke.
Yo.
What's that?
With that.
Hold on. Hello? So what's up, B? Watching the game, having a bud. True.
So a lot of these beer companies, especially during the Super Bowl, will touch on cultural touchstones that happened that year. But in some situations, the beer companies start the cultural touchstone. I mean, like, you couldn't go anywhere after that commercial aired without somebody going, "What's that?"
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And still, you could tell how old somebody is if you hear that out in a bar. You're like, well, they're probably in their late 40s, early 50s if they know that commercial. But Budweiser has the ability to or make cultural things happen too.
They, for so many years, just did the simplicity of, it was patriotic, but the Clydesdales, like running across America.
Right.
And that, and then maybe the most impactful post 9/11 Super Bowl ad was they did the exact same commercial and then had all the horses kneeling in front of the tower. I mean, that was very, very powerful ad. I'm going to tell a story primarily because an avid listener of ours, Dean, is part of the story. But Dean and I ran the St. Louis Marathon together one year. And We ran a lot of marathons together back in the day, and Dean was notorious from going numb from the shoulders up every time we ran a marathon. And he would remember or not see things or think he saw stuff that was not on the marathon route. And when we ran the St. Louis Marathon, it goes around the gates of the Anheuser-Busch Brewery.
Right.
And they had one of these Clydesdales in the middle of the road with the bells on it and this 3,000-pound horse, and you ran. It was stunning, and you ran right by it. And as we were having a Budweiser at the end of the race, and I was talking to Dean, and I'm like, "That was just amazing. The horse was just beautiful." And like, there was no horse. And there was this massive animal right in the middle of the road you had to go around. And,
right.
But Dean was completely oblivious to it as he
Blacked out.
Could you imagine what the horse was thinking when that was like, they probably let it out there. They probably, got it going and at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's like, all right, let's have a little food.
Yep.
And then so it's just going to be me today. And then
he's like, these people smell. This is what he was thinking. These people smell bad.
All right, so you're going to just want me to stand here for the next 4.5 hours.
That was, obviously some kind of a punishment for that Clydesdale. His day was not special.
Let's go on to its stepbrother here, Bud Light. So Bud Light came out in 1982. It was the answer to Miller's product, which had been out several years and had a lot of success. Bud Light has undoubtedly brought some of the best commercials, the most memorable, funny commercials. But the very first Bud Light commercial was not funny. The very first Bud Light commercial encouraged a football player who was struggling to keep bringing out his best.
Bring out your best.
I wasn't drafted till the 7th round. They don't even know my name.
Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy.
Crowder, huh?
That's why there's nothing else like it.
Budweiser Light.
And it's not Bud Light.
No, that was the original Budweiser Light.
So it was Budweiser Light, and they incorporated the Clydesdale in it to let you know this is a Budweiser.
Yes. Yeah.
We think this is good. It's as good as Budweiser. So they used some of the Budweiser Anheuser-Busch themes that were already successful, but they didn't know where they were going to go with this at that point.
That ad aired, and 3 days later was parodied on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have it or not?
I don't.
Because if you could, and that, because you're going to inevitably talk about how they abandoned that quickly and went to more comical character stuff, and part of it had to be the way they got panned that very next Saturday by Joe Piscopo for the ad. Are you familiar with this Saturday Night Live skit?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic.
I'm thinking of Belushi with the little Dinky Donuts and the Wheaties parody. But I don't remember the
Saturday Night
Light.
Live has done some amazing beer commercial parodies through the years.
They have.
Yes. And this one maybe kicked it off. This might have been their first beer parody. And I am pretty sure if you look at, they literally put this together instantly after Budweiser rolled this commercial out. And I think they sacked the ad campaign overnight with this parody of it.
Is it hockey?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So here's the Bud, spelled with 2 D's. There's a couple guys skating Joe Piscopo.
I know I can beat this guy.
Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. He's not so great. I can't believe my wife.
Robin Williams?
I can't believe my wife left with him. Yeah, this is Joe Piscopo mauling Robin Williams on the skating rink.
So at that point, Budweiser had to say, all right.
New tactic.
Yeah.
First of all, we're Bud Light.
Right.
Someone get us a dog?
Right.
Let's start over with this whole ad campaign.
That's funny.
Bring out your best.
So this
I do remember the ad now. I mean,
So that was 82.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so that was 82.
Did they go straight into Spuds MacKenzie from that?
So Spuds MacKenzie in 83 showed up on a poster.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just a poster in 83. He wouldn't show up in a commercial till 87. Spuds MacKenzie was a bull terrier, and he had a very distinctive circle around his eye, which made him different than other bull terriers.
There he is. What a happening dude.
They're a super party animal. Yeah. His name is Spuds MacKenzie. A barbecue inside. A barbecue. And a cold Bud Light. A cold Bud Light. Puts him in a party frenzy.
Is that Roy Acuff?
He's Spuds MacKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go Spuds, go. Go Spuds, go.
Go Spuds, go.
Spuds, you really cooking that.
All right. I don't know where you guys are at on this, but I'm just going to say it. I wasn't big on Spuds.
No.
Like, I could give her I could care less about
Spuds. From the last podcast we had, you said you kind of forgot that he was even a thing.
I mean, I remember, now that I remember it existed, but it didn't influence me in like a dog driving a car.
Right.
As a hero.
Right. So he originally started out as like this party animal. Animal House was still kind of in the public knowledge, just kind of up front. And that's the way they kind of rolled him out, was this college guy. I think that he had like a sweater on that said Delta Gamma for dog, and he was a real party cat. But when they rolled him out in commercials at the time, Lifestyles and Rich and Famous were big, with Robin Leach, and where they would, Lifestyles Rich and Famous, they would go around and visit these mansions. Which, and if you look back on some of those now, like the houses are just houses. They just happen to have like a jet jacuzzi and stuff like that. But when they rolled him out, it was speaking to
like the yuppie thing.
Yeah. So it wasn't hitting if they would have stuck with the party cat, if they would have stuck with the toga party and stuff like that, it probably would have appealed to you more. So that was their first attempt to try to be funny. In 95, they kind of hit their first stride with a commercial called I Love You Man. So what we're going to see here is a guy, and he's sitting on a dock fishing with his dad and his brother.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, John.
I mean, the Spuds MacKenzie thing was okay, but I think that was their first kind of like foray, and like, all right, humor's going to be our thing. That's going to be Bud Light's calling call.
Yeah.
And that was I can't remember if that was a Super Bowl commercial. I don't think it was. I want to say that was kind of like an early summer, like a May commercial, if I can remember right. So anyway, then they came back with something that was highly unusual, but they went to radio. So Bud Light went to radio, and there was still a lot of like top 40. Casey Kasem was still on. There was a lot of radio stuff, and there was a lot of national radio stuff going on too, syndicated stuff. And so Bud Light turned to FM radio, and which was in everybody's car at the time. They went with a theme called Real American Heroes. Now, we're listening just the same as you guys out there. So this is Real American Heroes.
Bud Light presents Real American Heroes.
Real American heroes.
Today we salute you, Mr. Bass Plaque Maker.
Mr. Bass Plaque Maker.
Only a true artist like yourself can turn 5 pounds of dead fish into a work of art.
No fishy smell now.
In your capable hands, we know that our trout will never look trashy. Our crappie, never crappy.
Never crappy.
Thanks to you, we can say, I caught this bass. What have you ever done?
Tell me now.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Bass Plaque Maker. Because while a trophy wife may grow old and wrinkled, a trophy bass can now remain forever young.
Forever young, forever
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis,
60-second commercial. You want another one?
Bud Light
What's the next one?
presents Real
Doesn't matter.
American Heroes.
What's the
It's about heroes.
What's the year?
98.
Today we salute you,
1998.
Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver Outer. Your tireless efforts keep our feet comfy and sanitized with mountain freshness. Instinctively, you match left shoe with right, carefully placing each pair in its own tiny shoe house. One wrong move, and we're on the fast train to Blisterville. Is he a 9.5 or a 10? You know. Why? Because you're Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver Outer. So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, mister, and know it's no accident those shoes are red, white, and blue. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you have them all queued up there, or is it?
I could play.
Is male
51.
football cheerleader on there?
Don't have. They're not in. They're not all in order. They don't say. I mean.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have them all queued up now.
Brad's laughing because we tailgate with someone who likes to interject comedy into his playlist at the tailgate. And for many years, the Bud Light Real American Hero Male Football Cheerleader was on like a repeating loop at our tailgate because Steve was a huge fan of the commercial. I thought I would have you play that for Brad's sake so he can appreciate some of the comedy of a previous era before Brad joined our tailgate.
Yeah.
So the singer of that campaign was Dave Bickler, the lead singer of Survivor.
See, there you go.
Kidding.
Which you can
Right.
still find on the jukebox at Sutliff Tap.
There you go.
The Real American Heroes. Yeah, so September 11th, after that, they did not want to risk being
Yeah.
thought of making fun
Yeah,
of heroes.
confusing that with like
Oh.
real heroes.
Well, and as you could, by my previous comment, probably discern, I did not know those were all straight radio ads.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. But they were also very politically incorrect by today's standards.
Oh, yeah.
Many of those ads
Yeah.
would be brand killers.
Right.
And so it's kind of interesting to think that that was only as recent as 2000.
I think it's worth listening.
Yeah.
They came back with a series of television ads called Real Men of Genius.
Got a real man of genius behind the
That's what
controls.
I was.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'm going to... I may have punted this. All right, I apologize.
That's all right.
But yeah, so it was Real Men of Genius, something very similar.
Yeah.
It was, the guy who took the extra dough that was punched out of the middle of donuts that went and made donut holes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just went on to 2002, one of my very favorite Bud Light commercials called the Bud Light Falcon, which there's only one other that I think is funnier than this, but the Bud Light Falcon. So what we're going to hear is it's going to start off with a gentleman on a high-rise patio with two young ladies at a party,
Okay.
and he has a falcon on his arm.
I don't know that I remember this commercial.
Oh, it's
Let's see it. I don't.
Yeah, I might have to see it to remember
I
it.
wasn't living. I was actually in college at the time. So
Wow. That is so cool.
Can he do it again?
Sure. Go get one, boy.
now he's sending him after another Budweiser.
Okay, so where does he get him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now the falcon is flying in Manhattan, wreaking havoc in
A great
outdoor
taste that won't
patios.
fill you up and never let you down.
Ooh, that's a first.
Make it a Bud Light.
I don't remember that commercial.
I don't either.
Did it do anything for you?
It renewed my keen interest in falconry.
Yeah.
We were last fall. We were in Ireland, and we stayed at
Birding.
an abbey that offered like a falconry section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we booked. I was super excited. I wanted to put the the bowling glove on and
Right.
stand out
Yeah.
there and have a bird of prey
Right.
land on my arm. And it was raining, and so they canceled. It was like a drizzle. It wasn't even a heavy rain. Like you'd play baseball in this, and they canceled
Falcons
the
don't
falcon.
go-
I was like, come on, I'm out here.
Right.
Willing to put on the bowling mitt. Why can't the falcon come out in the right? But anyway, I digress. I had no Bud Lights. The comely ladies on each shoulder were standing there waiting for the beer to come, and it never happened. All right. So we're talking about beer advertising.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a beer advertising, but related to beer advertising. My question for you guys, late 70s, early 80s, Long John Silver's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they sell beer? And I've full disclosure, I've Google searched it and it's inconclusive. I don't remember them ever selling beer, But what I do remember is every holiday season they ran a promotion where they gave away beer steins.
Tankard, yeah.
Yeah. Like from Thanksgiving to Christmas, each week
Right.
they rolled out a different
Yeah.
schooner
Right.
on the glass.
Right.
Collect them all.
Nina, Penta.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Tasmanian
Santa Marina.
Devil and the Looney
Yeah.
Tunes
Right.
kind of things you
The
could get at
Mayflower.
Hardee's.
Yeah. Except these were etched, so there wasn't lead-based paint on them.
Right.
Like the other
I have-
classes we had as a kid. But
I have that collection in my bar, the Hardee's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know anything about the beer at Long John's. My grandparents loved Long John's, being from Northern Ireland descent. They like their fish and chips.
Yep. Yeah.
But we always got it as takeout. So
Oh,
I did
okay.
not experience the restaurant fully. So
and you're a marketing guy.
yeah.
And we've talked a lot about these beer ads creating experiences. And I think if you're running a marketing class and you want to do a case study on creating an experience, you would look at like 1970s Long John Silver's. Because I think most people modern day, if they know anything about Long John Silver's, they
Right.
think it's a fast food place that shares housing with A&W.
Yeah.
Or is it
Yeah.
the Mall of America?
Right.
Yeah.
But in its day, I mean, I think the food was essentially the same. It was fast food, fish and chips.
Pretty greasy.
But from start, you pulled into the parking lot.
Right.
There's an anchor
Right.
out by the road.
Right.
You
Yeah.
felt like you were approaching
Visual
a vessel.
signage. Yeah.
You crossed, it was all gravel, and you crossed on a planky bridge.
Right.
And then when you went in, I mean, the employees are in pirate get up.
Right.
It was the whole thing. The whole
Did you have to walk a plank if you like
to get
did
in?
wrong?
To get in,
Don't
yeah.
you? The shaky bridge. It was
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
You walked across that thing.
Okay.
To go in.
I was thinking more as a punishment, like if you didn't finish
Well,
your meal or something, they would like tell you to go out and fucking walk
But
the plank.
Right.
we dined in.
Right.
Okay.
And
Fancy.
yeah, and as a
Yeah.
kid, you'd get the pirate ship was the kids' meal,
Yeah.
right? That you take home and float in the bathtub when you got
Yeah.
home at night, and the parents would get a good 6,000 calorie meal with cholesterol through the roof.
I'm getting a Fast Times at Ridgemont High
Yeah. Oh, well,
kind
Brad.
of thing.
Yeah.
The Brad character.
show a little pride.
Show a little pride, Brad.
Was that a takeoff on Long John's? For
If
sure.
you we've watched beer commercials. If you went back and looked at Long John Silver's commercials, absolutely, male employees, female employees, they had bandanas and eye patches, and they had pride in their craft.
Did they have parrots too?
Exactly.
Could you imagine, like,
Well,
What if
did.
they had real parrots in
Yeah.
the restaurant?
They had the logo was the one-legged pirate with the parrot on his shoulder. I mean, they were unabashed about displaying that guy.
could you imagine, like, flying into Cleveland for a potential franchisee meeting and then, like, having the Long John people tell you, like, all right, for your $500,000, you're going to get the plank.
Right.
You're going to get you're going to get the
It
anchor.
comes with all the stuff.
You're going to
Yeah.
The paper placemats were a map. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
too. Right down to the detail. They did not miss a detail in creating that nautical experience. You felt like you were back on the high seas pillaging.
The other thing I will tell you is it was the first place, like when you would walk on the floors, it would be kind of greasy because they used the
Yes.
same mop for the back
Yes.
as they
Right.
did the front. Like, so they cleaned the grease pit and everything, and then they would mop that up, and then they'd go out and clean the front of the house.
Yeah.
I know what the Long John's was. It in a boat? I don't even
Yeah, it
know.
was a boat. Yeah, it was
The kids got it in a boat.
Yeah.
It was super greasy when you like finished up your meal. It was soaked with some
Yeah.
sweaty remains.
And it was kind
Usually.
of the first place that had kind of
always.
Well, unless the crunchies soaked those.
No,
or
yeah,
you
that was
ate
the
it
first
fast
place
enough.
that had kind of like the hidden menu where you could say, "Hey, listen, good, can I get some crunchies?" You know, and that
Crunchy.
actually turned into something. You know, so you could actually order crunchies. But yeah, if you like hush puppies, and then you're just like, "Hey,
I think Long John Silver's and weed culture could be a good combination. Like if you had a vape shop next to a Long John's.
Yeah, forget the A&W in the current model.
right,
Was
Why don't they
attached-
hook up with like when it gets legalized nationwide?
right." So forget Taco Bell or whoever. Who are they paired with?
A&W. I think is what
A&W,
it is,
yeah.
A&W.
So forget that. So do a weed vape shop and then get like an Uber Eats so that people never have to leave their home.
Right.
They could just get Long John's,
Crunchies.
THC.
You don't have the munchies. You have the crunchies.
the crunchies. Yeah, give me the crunchies.
The chicken plank. A chicken plank and a fish. What a great combination.
No, I'm
now,
with you.
the Cedar Rapids one is still going today, or yes or no?
I think so. Yeah, I think they reopened.
I do believe so.
At one time, I think they caught on fire, which was
No.
Grease fire. Minor.
No, I think it caught fire.
Say it's not so.
Minor grease fire.
Dean would have been able to retire a couple weeks early if he didn't have to take that time off to mourn.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He had to take some extra time.
Because there was one on the strip, right? Down by Wig and Penn-ish. Was there one in Iowa City?
Yes.
Coralville?
Well, yeah, there were two. There was one in Coralville. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
That's the one.
That one went away sooner. The one in Iowa City was by Sycamore Mall. It's
barbecue place.
The
now.
barbecue place now.
Yeah.
And if you drive by it, you can see that it's still that old, distinct Long John
Silver. Because you have to
building.
walk a gangplank in order to go get spare ribs.
Yes. What's this anchor doing at a barbecue place?
We did a left turn from like famous beer advertising to greasy, fish-based, pirate-themed, nostalgic franchises.
And I think what we're landing on is a missed opportunity for some beer distributor in this. Right, there should have been a beer aligned with that Stein.
Well, we know for
if
a fact,
there was, we don't remember it, so that was a miss on somebody's behalf.
We know for a fact they sold those glass tankers.
100%.
They're showing up here on eBay that you could get schooner-themed beer tankards.
Yes.
The question is, was society lax enough that Long John Silver's could serve beer without a liquor license? I guess. I don't know. I guess. Well, no, like Shakey's sold beer that was a kind of a pizza place. My guess is they had a liquor license.
If we were to monetize this, this is only our second go round at the pod, but if we were able to somehow monetize this, could the proceeds go towards us trying to stand up a Long John Silver's beer? And then we can talk later. Maybe phase one is beer.
You're right.
Long John Silver's craft beers, or maybe not even craft beers, maybe old school beers.
You're saying beers like there's going to be more than one Long John Silver's flavor. Is there going to be?
Yeah, there might be.
Right.
There might be. But I'm just saying, it seems like a market. There's nostalgia there. There's identifiable characteristics. If we could just add another dimension to it, maybe we could breathe new life into it.
Yeah.
Now, I like that idea. I told a story earlier about the Hams Bear coming in.
Yeah.
As long as you commit to walking door to door in the pirate suit,
I'll be Brad.
Then that's show a little pride.
Yeah.
Just like a dude with like a peg leg and just a patch. And
the Miller High Life commercials we played earlier, there is a classic one called Scurvy, where he talks about how old time maritimers would put lime in their beer because it was said to fight scurvy. And then he says, but that requires putting fruit in your beer. Maybe scurvy's not so bad.
Right. Shot at Corona. It's
a little burn on the fancy people.
I will tell you, I have an absolute soft spot in my heart for 1980s glassware, like the Muppets Take Manhattan, the Smurf. But could you imagine being like a store manager and having like the Hardee's truck or McDonald's truck show up and like, all right, I've got 15 pallets of glassware that you need to make sure doesn't get broken for the next 4 months. Where do you want me to put it? Just begging people, please just buy a Coca-Cola and take one of these glasses.
They were probably so thankful when the last of those ET glasses was gone.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have to deal with it anymore.
We'll see if we can get hold of some of these tankards of Long John Silver beer tankards and get to the bottom of the story of it.
Yeah.
All right, boys, you ready to draw this down?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know. I'm doing good.
Well, you don't have to edit it. I spent like 6.5. I have a job on the weekends where I'm editing down.
Fortunately, our top 5
sense.
usually takes 90 minutes, so
Right.
we should be in good shape.
Speed round.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
so
go.
what these marketing companies and these beer companies are hoping to do is make an impression on you that you will immediately remember the name of their company and their beer. So what I'm going to do is to give you the beer slogan, and then I want you to write down which beer this is. All right,
Okay.
let's see how big of impact
Let's go.
they made.
So speed round.
Speed round.
Let's do it.
You're just going to get a couple seconds here. Dilly dilly. You don't say it out loud, Brad. There you go. Next, stay thirsty, my friends.
Okay.
Keep going.
It's not a party if you don't have a ball.
We're going to talk about that one.
I have some stories there.
Same here.
That's fine.
Holiday Bowl 1990.
Let's
we'll
go.
get to it.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. All right?
And?
Head to the mountains. The beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Okay.
It's Australian for beer.
Yeah.
Story there, too.
How many are there?
And the last one,
Okay.
it's got that frosty mug taste. It's
Okay.
got that frosty mug.
All right.
All righty.
All right.
I think I'm going to go
So
7 for 8.
All right. So you're welcome to tell your stories as we go along here. So Dilly, John, what'd you have?
I put Bud Light. I feel like I'm not sure I'm right, but I want to remember that. I remember Dilly
Same.
Dilly, but I didn't know for sure
Bud
what it
Light.
was
Right.
from. Yeah, okay.
So Bud Light, it was a
Dilly Dilly.
What it was doing was taking a shot at the craft beer, the rise of
Yeah.
craft beers.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody would bring the King Bud Light, and the King was pleased, and somebody'd bring the King Bud Light, and the King
Yeah.
was pleased,
Yeah.
and then somebody'd bring him like honey mead that was fermented in and the guy would get his head lopped off. So
Okay.
stay thirsty, my friends.
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, that's right. So that is, we talked about a little bit, the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
Staying power.
That was a strong, and they've
Yeah.
came back to that
Super
character
memorable.
a couple
Yeah.
times, so that was good. It plays well. It's not a party if you don't have a ball.
Coors Light Party Ball. What happened to them? Why are they not still out
Bring
there?
it back.
know.
Bring it back.
Fully
We will
recyclable?
have those at our franchise that's going to have fish and chips,
Right.
Long
Yes.
John's,
Right.
and the beer. We'll have to have
Yeah.
Coors Light.
So-
Party.
Great ad campaign, as you recall, when they talked about a keg is so difficult to manage, and they show these guys trying to put a keg through the sunroof of their car.
Right.
And again, like whoever really even tried to put a keg through the sunroof of their
In
car.
a
but-
time when cars were like the Gran Torino and the Ford
Right.
Thunderbird that had, they were trying to put a keg into like a Honda Civic 19
Well, that's my
or a
story.
Ford Escort.
Now,
or
well, go ahead.
My quick story on the Coors Light Party Ball is Central College, circa 89, 90. I don't know. Maybe 91. I had a 1981 Toyota Celica.
Unbelievable.
Called it the Silver Bullet. And we went to, I think it was a Rolling Stones concert in Ames. And we got a party ball for 4 of us. And we loaded it up in the back of my hatchback 81 Celica and consumed it pre and on the way. And like that's I think I went to the Hy-Vee in Pella and bought that thing. And I'm like, what a convenient vessel for that occasion.
Yes.
Bring back the party ball.
So I just moved my youngest daughter to the University of Iowa. And when we started at college, first of all, we moved her in. Moms are setting up all this fancy furniture, changing curtains in the dorm room.
Right.
I told the dad of her roommate, when we moved into the dorms at Iowa, we went to John's Grocery and bought like a case of Rhinelander or 2 and made like end tables out of it.
Right.
Nothing like it is now. But in college, party balls were a thing. We road trip, not a Celica. We had a Toyota Corolla that we took to the 1990 Holiday Bowl. And, the beverage of choice in that was the party balls. We
Right.
filled that thing up with party balls.
Heck yeah.
It got us safely from Iowa to California. Drank it at the stadium. Just
were
add ice to the
robust.
box.
Yeah.
Throw it away or recycle it and buy another one at the next liquor store. Just a beautiful product. Why is it gone?
John, for
Bring it
the
back.
Gen Z listeners, can you describe what the party ball is?
So it was I don't know how many gallons. Was it 2
5
gallons?
gallons.
It was 5. It was a full 5
Yeah, it was
gallon.
a 5 gallon.
So it was a straight up plastic ball with a plastic push button dauber pump that you would, easy to pop in.
Yeah.
And it came in a box. And the concept was you open the box and get a bag of ice, dump the ice in the box with the ball,
Right.
put the tapper on, and
Right.
you have a
Party to
mini
go.
keg, a party
Yeah.
ball.
It was
It's not a party if
lined-
you don't have a ball.
It was a lined box.
Yeah,
so
it was
the
beautiful.
water was not coming out of
Yep.
it. It was
Yeah.
and the
So convenient.
yeah, and the tapper was super easy to use and is reusable and super easy to clean.
Yeah.
and it was Coors Light. It was a Coors.
It was Coors Light Party Ball.
Yeah.
No one copied it.
Right.
No one ripped it.
Right.
And it went away, which is still, I'm still amazed. We talk about
It
tailgating,
is.
like how do we get a better vessel of beer so we're not just cans and bottles and people don't want to commit to a 16-gallon keg. Party balls would be a thing now. I still
Oh,
do.
no
I'm
doubt.
miffed that they're
Bring 'em
not-
back.
Yeah.
And even if they brought them back for the summer, they would be great. I mean, if they started
it
showing
to
up
the
like in
beach.
May for a graduation
Ski party.
and then they went away
All
on
the
Labor
things.
Day, and they made a big deal about
Yeah.
how they were coming out. Oh yeah,
I mean, I think we've talked about maybe in a future episode talking about like what happened to keg parties, and obviously a keg not going through a sunroof is a big part of why that is no longer a thing. But
Yeah.
Right.
party balls, like
Party balls.
is there a campaign that can be had? Again,
So good.
If we're gonna do Long John Silver's beer and Brad in a pirate suit,
Exactly.
Ray, can you be our party ball guy? Can
I
you be
will
like
be,
remember
yeah.
Batman trying to get rid of the bomb?
Right.
Could we have you running around town with a ball
big
over your
party
head?
ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
party the party
That's
the wrecking ball, the party ball.
I love it.
All right, if you've got the time, we've got the beer.
I said Miller.
I said Miller.
It is. It's a Miller High
Miller
Life,
beer. Yeah.
So what they were trying to also play off of a working man, because it was a champagne of beers, but Miller was trying to swing back toward the everyday guy. So head to the mountains.
I said Coors.
I said Bush.
Yeah. So it's Bush.
Yeah.
We've got Bush.
Of course.
The beer that made...
That's the one I wasn't sure of.
The beer that made Milwaukee famous.
I said Old Milwaukee.
I said Old Milwaukee as well.
It is not.
I know it's not. I knew it was right because it's a trick question, and it's not PBR.
No, it's Schlitz.
Schlitz.
Yeah, and it's out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So listen to this.
Okay.
So the reason it made Milwaukee famous is during the Chicago fire, a lot of the breweries were centrally located in Chicago, and they all burnt down. And while parts of Chicago were still smoldering, Schlitz sent rail cars down from Milwaukee of beer, and they branded Schlitz beer at the World's Fair. The same World's Fair we talked about where
PBR stole the medal.
Right.
Yeah.
Pabst called their beer Pabst Blue Ribbon, and everybody that went there assumed that was the Blue Ribbon winning beer,
Right.
but it was because Pabst named their beer
Yeah.
Blue Ribbon. So, but yeah, so the World's Fair is
Good one. Good poll.
Yep.
It's Australian for beer,
Foster's.
That is Foster's.
right? So that's another. Their packaging. When you bought a Foster's beer, you were making a commitment. It has they called it the oil can.
Oil cans.
Yeah, I mean, when you bought a Foster's beer, you were going to sit and...
I think shotgunning beers has made a comeback.
Yeah,
because we see it. We see college kids at
Right.
the tailgates
Yeah.
shotgunning beers again.
Right.
Yes.
It was a much bigger thing
And
earlier
keg
in its
stands,
day.
yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was, we lived in an apartment that was called the Mud Hut, and somehow, some way, shotgunning a Foster's became a thing.
Right.
And that was an absolute staple at every party at that apartment complex. We had the Foster's, and that's a healthy shotgun. That's
No doubt.
An oil can's a big,
Right. You're
big
not doing
commitment.
that at the if you're doing it at the end of the night, you're...
That's not a knife.
Right.
It was a commitment. Yeah.
Foster's, the only thing about Foster's, if you've ever talked to an Australian, they would tell you nobody in Australia drinks Foster's.
Yeah.
It's like exported to outside Australia and like marketed as an Australian beer, but it's like, I think Stella has a similar reputation in Belgium that like we think of it as a fancy import,
Yeah.
but like very few people drink it.
It's like the Crocodile Dundee of beers.
Kind of.
They all don't wear leather vests with no shirt underneath, and the
yeah.
cowboy hat with crocodile teeth on the band.
Very
Okay.
much, almost like a parody.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Anyway, Foster's for sure.
All right, boys. And last but not least, it's got that frosty mug taste.
I said A&W.
I did too.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a root beer.
A&W. It's a root beer.
It's a root beer.
All right, we're going to close it out here, friends, with our top 5. This week's topic, the top 5 marketing items that would be found on premise in a dive bar. So these are items that you would find in a bar, dive bar, that the distributors would put in the dive bar to make you feel like you are in a place.
Yeah.
What are the things in this bar that makes you feel like has an emotional feel for you, that makes you want to keep coming back? So, Brad, we'll start with you. How are you going to handle this? You going to give us all at once, or?
I think I'm going to go if you don't mind, John, I'm going to go top to bottom.
Okay.
Rather than like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. I don't have mine in a particular order.
I don't either.
Are you going to go all 5?
I'm going to go all 5.
Okay.
And we'll see how they match up, or do you want to go back
Yeah.
and forth?
No, we can go all 5. Go.
All right. So, no particular order. I'm going to go with a lamp or something hanging. Ideally, I think in the best dive bars, these would have the twinkle. I don't know if it's a grease drip to it, but like the Hams flowing waters type thing, or some kind of a lamp shade. And it could be behind the bar, or it could be over a pool table, but it would be a branded hanging lamp icon.
Okay.
Could say PBR on it, whatever. That I think is a classic thing to expect in a dive bar. My number 2, which is very pedestrian, but I think it's a branded coaster of some sort, a beer mat.
Yeah.
That's thrown out. It could be a Bud beer mat or whatever it might be. The third one would be more on the way in the window. You're going to see a branded like Budweiser or Busch or some brand with the local favorite sports team. So it's going to have a Bears logo in it, a Cubs logo in it or a Hawkeye logo in it. I think you're going to see that in the window of thinking about Teddy O'Brien's or a place like that.
For sure.
Another one, which is maybe not a requirement or at every place, but I think a good dive bar might have a cardboard cutout of a sports icon or a local icon, like maybe a Formula One, maybe not Formula One, Indy 500 driver, or like some kind of celebrity athlete, a Michael Jordan cutout or a Caitlin Clark cutout. I don't know. That might be a stretch.
We've all logged a lot of time in dive bars.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in one that had like a life-size cutout of a Formula One driver?
Yeah, yeah. Richard Perry, like a Richard Perry or
a Richard Perry, and that's a
Richard Petty,
right?
Stephen Perry. A cardboard cutout of someone, David Lee Roth.
Because isn't a Formula One driver the size of like the average Kentucky Derby jockey? Like it'd be like a 3.5 foot cutout. You wouldn't be able to see behind the bar.
It might be a reach.
And I think Richard Petty was probably a NASCAR guy.
What I was thinking about was like Elvira. I feel like Elvira, remember when she was used as kind of a
comely lady?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We went into a dive bar one time, and you mentioned race car drivers. Dale Earnhardt, a lot of Dale Earnhardt memorials and things you'll see in dive bars, particularly in the South. We went into one, and they had a stuffed goose on the bar with a number 3 like handkerchief and a little hat on it, like a tribute to Dale. A goose, a tribute. I mean, what finer tribute?
Right.
To a great sportsman than a stuffed goose.
Memorialized.
Like discolored by cigarette smoke.
Taxidermied waterfowl.
Yeah, and that goose is probably bigger than most Formula One drivers.
Right.
So. Anyway.
I know I'm spreading a little
Brad,
thin.
I think you're on thin ice with the
Elvira the cardboard cutout.
Is the
PBR that you have there the THC variety? Or continue.
My last one is like a wooden effigy, like I think an oar, or a canoe, or like a like some kind of a totem, something that's carved out of wood. If you go into a dive bar, you're gonna see like a Leinenkugel's canoe, or you're gonna see something.
No, hey, listen, I'm with you there. I'll support you there. I will say, if you go anywhere above Dubuque, you're going to see a lot of Leinenkugel's oars and full-blown canoes and kayaks and paddleboards.
So that's my thing.
Yeah.
Wooden hanging object.
I'm gonna get
a cutout of some sort of local celebrity or maybe national celebrity, an icon in the window with the sports team and the beer brand around it, a hanging lantern with the beer brand that might go over the pool tables or might be behind the bar, and then branded coasters. Those are my 5.
I think you have 2 separate animals there. I think there's wall signage and there's lights that hang down.
I cast a wide net on this one because we were struggling for 5.
So if you want to punch out the Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and put the pool table light in there, I think that would be an okay.
I'll take that feedback.
Yep.
Those are my 5, man.
I was, as you were going through it, thought, all right, how many are we going to duplicate? Because I figured there's a good chance we duplicate several.
None.
Only one, just one. And the neon sign with a sports team attached. I think that's any dive bar is going to have something like that. So no particular order as well. I went maybe similar to your lamp, but not. But the animated signs that you'll see behind the bar that like are scrolling.
Okay.
I think Hams is the most famous one. It's the lake and it's tingling lights and scrolls. There's a really famous Miller Lite one. I don't know if you've ever seen it. That it rotates different scenes. It'll be a mountain and then it rotates to a beach and a city, and then hidden is the word light.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an iconic one. You see it a lot of dive bars. So an animated sign of that sort.
Yeah.
I did an old school lit, not a neon, but like a lit sign with a clock. So half of it's a clock, half is the beer.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you see that at a lot of really old, authentic dive bars.
I missed my notes, but go ahead.
The other one, behind the bar, simplicity, but a bumper sticker. It'll be on the cooler or on the slider. Just
solid.
Yep. They just
Agree.
put, nothing more creative than a bumper sticker. And then I also had a mirror sign. So
good.
It's a mirror with
the
beer on it.
For a lot of kids, that was kind of their entry level into alcohol, was either like a Jack Daniel's sign or a beer. Because if you went to the carnival or
the
circus,
fair,
yeah, you could win those things.
Right.
Little bottle ring.
Hell yeah.
Right.
They'd send you home with that.
And every once in a while, you would have a friend that their dad would have like a small grocery store, or they would have a bar or something like that, and that kid would have the coolest room. Like they would just be plastered with beer signs.
Yeah. The one neither one of us really had, you I think referenced it, but the Budweiser Clydesdales in the plastic globe, behind the bar is.
Well,
I came up with two more while we were going through it. I don't know if we need to do it, but calendar, like either a actual wall calendar that's branded, or the ones that have the flippy, like it would say it would give you like the day of the week, the day of the month, like branded by the beer distributor. And
a lot of times they would have that you have to be born by this date. So Budweiser would have you have to be born by this date to help the bartenders out. But I thought you were going to say the classic Budweiser one is the Clydesdales, and it's actually in a circle.
Yes.
And the Clydesdales go around.
Another presentation of it. Yeah, beer marketing on site at a dive bar. There you have it.
All right, boys, you got it all out of your systems?
I think I do.
All right.
It's a good session.
All right. Well, thank you for spending your time with us. We had the equivalent of looking at about 12 beers here. That's a pretty good show. It's not bad.
Good session.
Excellent.
Until next time, friends.
Playing.
Yep.
Cheers.
Bye.